What up, boys, and welcome back to yet another Dragonflight video. So the topic of today's video is Dragonflight Gold Farms, and I'm talking like the current content gold farms, where you go out, you farm something on the Dragon Isles, and it sells relatively quickly, right? Because that is most people's preferred way of making gold. They want to see an instant return of the time that they invest into the farm. They don't want to deal with the transmog because it takes a while to set up and it takes a while to see any return on your time invested, right? And this is like one of the hottest topics. The most common questions is like around the Dragonflight gold farms, because some people are telling me that they've given up to farming gold in Dragonflight because prices are down. A lot of people are frustrated with all the spots that have been getting nerfed lately. And I, of course, get a lot of questions asking me, student, how much can you expect to make doing Dragonflight farms and which are the best farms? So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So basically what I usually did is, well, I did this every single day. Like when I got on, I favorized all of the different items that you would farm for on the auction house. So it was relatively easy to get an exact gold per hour of what you can expect if you spend an hour at the spot, because I know exactly how many basilisk eggs you will average an hour, how many waterfowl fillets you can get an hour, and what amount of frostbitten wilder cloth you could average at the different locations, and then so on, like with all the different farms that I do. However, it's no secret that prices are down, and even though we have a regional auction house, prices still bounce, like still to this day they bounce up and down like crazy. So it changes every single day. Like every single day when I get on, it's exciting to go and check out the auction house to see how the prices has evolved. But there has been a lot of nerfs. So for instance, Awakened Fire went from like 70 gold up to almost 400 gold each. But it makes sense because Blizzard did nerf the Frostfire Awakened farm, so I had to go out and test the different locations. One of the first locations that I found on the alpha before the game went out. Well, like, we never had to do this spot because there was just better alternatives. And I still, to this day, have a ton of gold farms that I haven't made a video on because there's no point. I know that we have better locations right now. Now, that's probably going to change in the future. There's a lot of locations, and we're going to get back to that, that I consider to be too good to last the entire expansion, because people love, for instance, people love raw gold, and eventually people will go and do the best raw gold farms. Like, even though they don't get as much gold as they could have received doing something else, they will still go and do that raw gold because it's instant return, right? But the Awakened Fire spot, it wasn't good enough. You got like 60 Awakened Fire an hour, and that's not a lot of gold. Like that, together with the gray items you pick up and the cinder cloth that you pick up, it's like a 30,000 gold per hour farm right now. Like that, it sells instantly, yes, but you're making 30,000 gold an hour doing this. So if you are excited about 30,000 gold an hour guaranteed, I know some people are, then this Awakened Fire location right here is relatively decent. It takes place in the Waking Shores, right here in this gray area, this ashy area. It's an okay farm, but it's I mean, we're all used to way higher gold per hour in Dragonflight, right? And then you of course have like the other location that you can go to in Unaran Plains, which takes place right there at Fork River Crossing. Most people know the location. It's for Frost and Air, the Awakened Frost and Air. And it's probably, when it comes to like the Primal farms, the highest yielding gold per hour one, because you can get like roughly 110 Awakened in total. The price on them is pretty similar. So you do get over 30,000 gold just in Awakened, and then you have like 5,000 gold raw. So it should be closer to 40,000 gold on that one. So in terms of Primal farms, so far, well, right now with the way that the prices are and nerfs, now you never know. Like this one might be nerfed as well, but right now the best Primal farm at least. And now I want to talk a little bit about farms that bound to get nerfed, because I consider them to be too good long term, considering like if you evaluate them compared to other farms that we have in previous expansions. And that would be this farm right here. I did make a video about this one. It's killing Dragonkin mobs. Now, they drop cloth because they're like Dragonkin mobs. Dragonkins, they drop cloth. And the good thing about this farm, you can take a look at my hyper respawn add-on bottom right corner of the screen right now. The GPH says like 15,000 gold an hour. Now, that is without counting anything but direct gold picked up from the mobs and items vendor. And when I vendor now, that number is going to pop up even more. It's usually 16 to 17,000 gold. Just straight up looting gold from mobs and vendoring greens and grays. Now, if you were to enter the cloth, you would get more, right? So you could easily average like 20,000 gold guaranteed without even using the auction house on this farm. Now, if we look historically, there has been farms yielding similar numbers, and they have been nerfed every single time. Like, they always get nerfed. And it makes sense, because people will go absolute ham at these locations, and it's going to bring a lot of inflation if people just print 20,000 gold raw without using the auction house, without any form of gold sync whatsoever. So I do think that this spot will be, if they don't nerf it fast, people will eventually go to this spot. Now, if you sell the cloth on the auction house, which you obviously should, because you do get like 1,500 frost cloth as well, just in the frostbitten cloth and the raw gold, you're making right above 30,000 gold an hour. Now, if you're relatively lucky, you can also get the mystic items, the epic mystic items, disenchant those. Those crystals are like 500-600 gold right now. So it's not going to make you a lot of gold. I mean, this hour, I think I got 7 crystals or something like that. And I mean, it's less than 5,000 gold, right? But it's a solid option with guaranteed golds. And it's worth mentioning because, as I said, if it doesn't get nerfed, it's definitely going to be a go-to spot for people. Now, in terms of the best gold farm in Dragonflight, it changes. As I said, it can change from day to day. But as of right now, something that I've mentioned before as well that people really sleep on is this one right here, the Flash Frozen Meat. Now, the price on this bounces like crazy because it can go from like 80 gold up to like 250 gold, right? It just bounces up and down. It's one of the items needed to get the secret mount in the Asher span. And right now, they're at 150 golds. You can see I've sold 3,300 of these with an average price of 262 gold. But at 150 gold, it's really good. Because if you have a decent group doing this in a 2x4 setup, you should average 300 flash frozen meat an hour. The highest I've received is 350 with a really good group. But if you get 300 flash frozen meats an hour, you're making 45,000 gold an hour just in the flash frozen meat. Now, on top of that, you also get like right above 5,000 gold raw, so you're up to 50,000 gold an hour. And then what's going to make you additional gold is cloth and mystic disenchant items. Now, the cloth alone is also a couple thousand of gold, and same thing if you have enchanting. So you could make like roughly 60,000 gold an hour with the current price, that is. And the profession specializations that you're going to need is going to be, if it wouldn't bug out, there we go. So you need to get into this one right here, Tailoring Mastery, a couple of points in that one, so you can go into Cloth Collection. Now, Cloth Collection will pretty much allow you to get the bolts and the specialty cloth and just more cloth in general. And every single mob that you're killing are humanoids, so definitely helps. And then when it comes to enchanting, you want to spec into Inside of the Blue. For this farm, you don't need Primal Extractions. That's just for the Awakened farm. But you do want Inside of the Blue to get the Mystic items. And then you also want Draconic Disenchantment. So when you disenchant those Mystic items, you have a higher chance of getting bonus material. And then you could average 60,000 gold an hour doing that farm. So that's a really good option in Dragonflight right now. I think it's a shame that there's a lot of gold farms in Dragonflight that's down right now. However, with that being said, gold farms lasted for way longer than I thought they would last due to the regional auction house. Like, we made 100,000 gold an hour for a fairly long time with a regional auction house. Now, I don't consider Dragonflight Gold farming to be dead, but I think you really have to look at the prices, monitor them, maybe even farm or invest when prices are low and then sell whenever they get higher. Flash frozen meat is a great example. Like if this video drops and everyone goes and farms the flash frozen meat, I mean, you bet your ass is going to go down in value, but if you hold it and sell it later on, you're going to be way better off. But I do think that with a big patch coming to WoW that features like a new zone, a new raid, and all of that, we'll have tons of new patterns and new plans needing all of these materials. Maybe it's going to be like Seraph Mortis, where we even have new materials needed for the new crafts. That really sparks up current content farming. But it's like I always say, people come to me and they're like, yo, student, right now mining and herbalism is only 80,000 gold an hour. And then a couple days later, yo, student, now it's only 60,000 gold an hour. And then now it's only 50,000 gold an hour. And I give them the same answer every single time. Like, yeah, you should enjoy those 60,000 gold an hour, because guess what? In a couple of days, 60,000 gold an hour, you're going to be dreaming about it. It's not going to last. It never does. So right now, making a guaranteed anywhere from 30 to 60,000 gold an hour, farming something that sells instantly, is considered decent. That's a lot more than people averaged like towards the end of Shadowlands, the majority of people. And that is if you don't want to do something like old content. Old content will always yield, like at this point of the game, old content farms will always yield a higher gold per hour on time invested, but it takes way longer to sell. Like you can, for instance, go and farm the reigns of the Tundra Ruby Cloud Serpent, where you average pretty much like 1 mount an hour in a good group on average, unless you're really unlucky, and that's a 50,000 gold mount. And then you also get like 10 to 15,000 gold guaranteed raw gold and in Spirit of Harmony. So there's a lot of options out there to make a higher gold per hour than current content, but most people, they just type the usual like, student, this shit doesn't sell, because they tried selling it for 5 hours, and whenever they do anything that's Dragonflight related, it sells instantly. Therefore, old stuff doesn't sell, right? And I love farming old content because I do realize, and I'm fully comfortable with the fact that it takes longer to sell. But once you do enough of the old farms, you have so much shit up on your auction houses that you're bound to get a lot of sales daily. That was just like my thought about the Dragonflight current content gold farming. If you guys got any questions whatsoever, leave them down below in the comments section. And don't forget to check out the sale on the 0 to 10 million gold guide. We're celebrating 100,000 YouTube subs by doing the 0 to 10 million gold guide for only $9.90. And this comes with every single future update done to the guide for free, sent directly to your mail. And if you want to watch more videos like this one before anyone else, consider signing up to the VIP Discord. It's pretty much like a Patreon, where you join a Discord, and on that Discord, I upload all of these YouTube videos for you guys to see before they go public on YouTube. I also share like interesting items spiking in value, future investments that I'm doing for like patches and seasonal events and all of that. And of course, whenever a new expansion comes along, I play on the alpha and give my insight on professions and farms and all of that. So make sure to check out the VIP and the gold guide with a link down below in the description. That's pretty much it for today's video though. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all back in at the next one. Bye bye.